Mitch Alexander, Eye of the Enemy. Thanks for coming on, man.
No, thanks for having me. This is great.
Yeah, good, good. So Eye of the Enemy started, way back 2006. You joined more recently, right?
Well, it's actually weird. I was talking to everyone about this a little while ago. We had like a big band meeting thinking about the next couple of years. And I was like, well, only having been in the band for the last kind of a decade now. Like
There you go. Jeez.
it's
Yeah.
been a decade. I mean, I think
Yeah,
COVID and lockdown and everything sort of skewed time.
sure.
But yeah, even before that, it was like, five or 6 years.
Mm.
And all up now, it's been, I think, nearly 10.
Yeah,
Uh,
wow, man.
but it does feel like in the grand scheme of things, I think too, because there was two albums before me, and so far there's been one album and an EP.
Sure.
We're writing the new one at the moment, but I think that sort of, there's a feeling of a band being cemented and me coming along as the new guy. I do also think, not at all to compare myself to them, but I think about how Sepultura like feel like it's Max's band still. And I just wonder if new vocalists can ever get out of the shadow of the one that sort of can start it. Because it's like Max hasn't been in the band, I think, for twice as long as
Yeah,
the current guy. And it's just
that's
like,
madness,
well,
man. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's still Max Cavalera, isn't it? It's like, no, it's not at all.
Yeah, yeah, bizarre. Um, so how's writing work for you guys? You work on new stuff now, yeah?
Yeah.
So are you coming with melodies and lyrics, or what's the kind of how's it all come together?
I usually leave it to the songs to get like probably 80% of the way done. And I like to have like a full structure that the guys are sort of working on, but I'm also involved in that. Like I'm the type of vocalist that'll annoyingly go to a guitarist and be like, what if you did like a and they're like, I don't know what that means. And I'm like, just fucking try it, do it.
Yeah.
So we sort of work on the music together, get the songs into a good sort of structure because when I'm planning vocals, I think of the structure like sections, intersections, and outer sections, and I have it sort of in my head. Then I will take what they've sort of got musically, start putting vocal ideas over it, and then we sort of it's just sort of back and forth until the like the bouncing back and forth gets to a certain point where it stops and then and the song clicks because I'll come up with something and then we'll go, oh, well, that'll change the drums here. We'll do that. But then when the drums change, it's like, well, this next section on the guitar should be a new sort of thing. So yeah, there's a lot of sort of bouncing around back and forth, but something that has helped us a lot, and we're doing it at a sort of a bigger scale this time, is this like writing to a theme, writing to an idea, writing to something instead of just like, well, we're going to chuck some riffs together, some songs together for a release. Really stepping back, like, what's the whole thing going to be to start with? And for some people, definitely the big themes and topics can come out after you've started, and that's totally fine. If that works for you and what you're doing, great. For us, our personalities, I think what really helps is having like a big overarching idea to sort of frame and color everything that we're doing and sort of focus us down. And like that idea and theme also changes along with everything we produce. But just in terms of starting, it's really cool to have a sort of a big idea in place.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. The way you describe the writing, like, are you guys writing in the jam room or is it like sending files? Like, what's the go?
Both.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I mean, with technology these days, man, like anyone can produce stuff that sounds basically studio quality. Like you can get, MIDI drums, you can riff over the top of it, mix and a master preset, and it's sounding pretty good. So a lot of the time, it's a lot of like Kano and James, especially at the moment, have been coming up with like full songs, and then we've been tearing them apart and putting them back together. And Maurizio as well is coming up with like ideas to put in there at the moment as we go through. And I just sort of, again, like I said, listen to it and I'm like, what if we put a little bit in here that's like a but once we get the songs mostly done in that 80% range, then we start jamming on them in the practice space. There is a sort of a risk, I think, if you've got just a collection of riffs or just one or two sections, you sort of jam on them and you're like, all right, well, what's next? What's the thing? And sometimes you risk not having enough of a song to sort of play around in. But again, I know I've been in a band where we've written everything by jamming. It's just you just feel it, you just go with it, and you write whatever. But for us, what really seems to work is having a full song because then we'll go, oh, what if we try this whole new thing here, as opposed to we need something here. Who wants to come up with something? So we definitely do jam on stuff. We definitely do feel it in the room, and whole songs, individual sections sort of live and die in the room. Like there was like recently we had one part where I was just like, I just don't know. I'm not sure. I missed a prac and everyone was like, no, that part is staying. It is the best. It makes the whole song. And I was still like, nah, I don't know. And as soon as I was in the practice space, did it once and I was like, there it is. Like, yes, it has to be there. That's the sort of vibe. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, always making sure there is a live felt sense to it all, but also just yeah, giving ourselves enough room to make sure we're jamming fully on things, getting into the flow of it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Earlier this year, you guys supported Dark Tranquility, right?
yeah,
I imagine that must have been like that's a good match, yeah. Like, do you guys
yeah,
have a good show? Yeah.
yeah. That was wild. I mean, considering like the melodeath subgenre that we're in,
Mm,
to be able to go out with basically like one of the bands that can legitimately say they started the entire genre, like
yeah,
pioneered the whole thing. It was wild. And the responses that we got from the crowds was unbelievable. Like just it was there was a real sense of like enjoyment and fun as well as a sort of aggression. And I think it was this sort of like because I think a fair few people may not have heard of us or just sort of heard a couple tracks, but I think having like I am proud of our live show. I think we put on a really fucking fun live show. It's aggressive. There's energy. There's a lot of moshing connection to it. The whole thing. Like we love a live crowd,
yeah, cool.
and I think people were stoked to be able to do that before Tranquility. There wasn't that this sense that they weren't going to have to sort of stand there and listen to some bands beforehand. And just I think the fact that we were Australian was just a cool thing to be like, yeah, great. Like here's this Aussie act that can sort of kick some ass before the band we really want to see comes on. I think felt good for everyone involved, especially Brisbane. Like we've always said that we've had a really ridiculous response in Brisbane. Myself and James, we're from Brisbane. We started gigging there together in bands when we were just out of high school, and that show was really really special because the crowd was hot. Everyone was into it from the start, and my like stepbrother and stepmom were in the audience. It was his first ever show,
Oh, cool.
first ever metal show.
Mm,
And so watching him in the mosh pit, getting him to like push people and get pushed in turn and like seeing him like he wouldn't shut up about it for the next day, just like that was sick. I know a bunch of friends that would really like that. And just I got to watch in a family member like that first little seed of metal that I think a lot of us go through. I think most metalheads have that sort of moment. The first time we see it live and we're like, oh my God, oh, this is special. This is something.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, for that show, like to be able to have Dark Tranquility be a massive band for us and the genre, and to be able to go support them at the sort of the huge end, the huge scale was great, and then down to that really personal section on the last show where my brother was there, 18, barely able to start drinking and going to gigs, and to see us was yeah, that was really special.
Yeah, nice man. That's cool. And you guys must have played with some other bigger bands over the years, right? Are there any that really kind of stand out, like shows that you guys have done?
Man, I think it's it's wild the bands that we've played with.
Mm,
A few for me, I think Soilwork were another one that like just the genre that we're in
yeah.
is really cool. Um Fear Factory, I think, was the first major sort of international band that I supported,
Cool.
in Australia at least. Um, Flesh God Apocalypse, we played with them through Asia a while ago. It's the tour I signed up like for the band
Yeah,
to
right.
do.
Cool.
That was massive. But I think for me, the big one was Trivium. It was 2019. We just released Titan, which was the album that I was on, and it I don't even know exactly how it came about, but I know that their guitarist like shared one of our songs, shared our single when we released it. So he heard it somehow and liked it. And it was during a festival. I can't remember which ones. Good Things. Don't think it was Soundwave at that point, but a festival that they were playing, and they had a one-off show in Canberra. and they asked us personally to be their main support. And so for a band like Trivium, for me, they were one of those bands on those Roadrunner DVDs and CDs that like they're doing stuff. I got their first album. I remember them being like a band, quote unquote, and they asked us personally to support them. It was ridiculous. It
Yeah,
was
that's
silly.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's great, man. And so you're also in Hours in Exile, yeah?
Um, I mean, yeah, I mean, no, yes, like I was.
Okay. Oh, sure. All right.
And the band, we recorded again, it'd be more than a decade ago now. If I've been in Eye of the Enemy for a decade, then I was in Eye of the Enemy, I was in Hours in Exile, sorry, before that.
Okay.
So we recorded a bunch of music that just never got mixed and mastered and released. And so the guys had been talking for a little while about just getting those recordings and putting them out. And like, yeah, I sort of had a listen and I was like, I've gotten better in the last decade. I personally wouldn't, but if you want to use them, then like you have my permission to do so. Like, yep, you can have those vocal takes. And so that was cool. So they released it only a couple months ago.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't think many people ever get a chance to have that sort of retrospective. Like you don't sort of record it, put it to the side, and then you might listen to it occasionally, but the idea of it finally coming out as a proper release, I think just felt a bit different. But yeah, I don't. There's no plans. I don't think to play live or write new stuff. At least with me, which is
Oh,
which again, fine. If they want to do it, I really I hope they do. That'd be really fun. I don't have time at the moment, but yeah, yeah,
no, that's common. Yeah. So yeah, I the enemy's doing stuff. You guys are headed over this way in
yes.
October, which is
Hmm.
awesome. For Electric Eye Fest. Have you guys played over this way before?
Nah, first
Okay.
time.
Nice. Excellent, man. Oh, good.
Really keen.
Excellent. Well, sell it to us. What are we going to hear? What are people going to look forward to, you know?
Like I mentioned before, like we always try to make sure that the live show is the point.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
I don't feel satisfied unless I've had a crowd with, spit, sweat, potentially blood, satisfied, physically tired people able to express themselves, able to feel at that type of aggressive joy that metalheads have. And I think at the nearly towards the end of a full day of metal, I feel like we are in such a really, really cool time slot to have a fucking awesome crowd. And my promise to anyone that comes to the shows is that if you put in 100%, I will put in 110. And I promise you that if you come to have a good time with us, if you come to have a raucous, physical, energetic, aggressive time, we will deliver for you. We will 100% facilitate that. I love our live shows. Like not to blow smoke, but just man, it's so much fun getting a crowd sort of like getting a crowd into what they want to be doing anyway. Like you look at a lot of crowds, it's just like, where are you here to fucking get rowdy? It's like, yeah, same. Let's go. I'm encouraging that 100%.
Yeah,
So
no.
yeah, physicality in a word.
Beautiful. Awesome. Cool. Well, Mitch, I'll see you there, man. That's gonna be a good
Hell yeah.
show. Thanks for the chat, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, not a problem. Thank you.
Cool. See ya.